Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you another video. All right, so Denver. I issued a challenge to the Denver Nuggets about 2 months ago, maybe a little less than that. I made an entire video about it, and I essentially said that pressure needs to be applied to them to win the championship. Well, they're in the Western Conference Finals, and they have healthy players. I don't know that they have a whole lot of depth, to be honest with you, but they definitely have capable guys on their bench that can do damage if they call upon them. Mike Malone, fantastic coach. They're running great stuff out there, and they have their full spectrum of players. Jamal Murray, Porter, Gordon, obviously Nikola. Their team is serious. KCP with championship experience. Bruce Brown and his defense coupled with KCP and what they can do together. Christian Braun, the young kid, or Brown. I don't know if I've said his name correctly, but he's also another player you could throw in there. Has combo stuff, plays defense, really helpful off the bench. Um, it's a pretty good team, man. They have a pretty good team. They're playing excellent basketball. And I can't say I've watched a lot of them. But what I can say is, I don't know that they've been tested very much. I'm not going to lie. The Minnesota Timberwolves, minus McDaniels, obviously they were missing some things that they really needed just down there in general. To go up against this team, even though they had plenty of size, you got to give Carl his credit. They played well. Obviously, Anthony Edwards, heck of a talent. So they played a solid series with that team, but I'm not saying that they had a hard path. If you consider what other teams had to go through in the first round, you see, um, you know, the various paths. Obviously, with my team, the Lakers, Memphis, now Golden State. I mean, it's just a different path. With Denver going into the second round with the Phoenix Suns, we know the Phoenix Suns are a fantastic bunch, but at the end of the day, they are kind of shallow. They only really use two players to kind of give them the bulk of their offense. So I don't know how you would look at that as it pertains to how much they were challenged. Obviously, those two players are Booker and Durant, but at the end of the day, I just don't think that that's the greatest challenge in terms of their path. This isn't. But they still mowed it down just the same, and were impressive in doing so. I've never been one of those people that was outside of the Jokic understanding, I guess you could say. I can't say that I've been one of those folks that was hating on Jokic or had the idea that he was less than what he is out there. If you guys follow me long enough, you know I've been telling you guys what he's about. I think at the end of the day, I'm not certain his game is going to translate to winning championships. That's what needs to be proven, I think. And even though he can win in the regular season, he's obviously proven he can win these playoffs against certain teams. Can he do it against certain players that are ultimately going to be on the path toward a championship? In a 7-game series, can he do it against Anthony Davis? In a 7-game series, can he do it against Joel Embiid or Jason Tatum or Steph Curry? Like, these are the things that I'm going to have to see him do. Can his game, the way that he basically plays pool out there while everybody else is playing basketball, he's playing pool, is the way I see it. If his game can translate to winning a championship, because I honestly don't know that it can, based on the fact that his teams don't generally play enough defense, particularly in the front court. They got the perimeter guys that can catch you, uh, like KCP and Brown, and as I've already said, Braun or Brown. It might be both named Brown now to think about it, right? But nevertheless, they have some players, Gordon, who can help you in the front court, but they're a little slim there when it comes to stopping layups and stuff like that. They're not really doing that, and in my opinion, you're going to have to do that in order to win a championship. So I think the Denver Nuggets are missing that piece, um, and I think they're going to be missing a chance at a championship because of it. But just the same, you have to tell a guy like Nikola Jokic your job is to overcome mistakes. Just like I tell Anthony Davis, if we're missing something here, missing something there, it's your job to make up for that. You gotta otherwise do more if for some reason there's less there, because that's what a pantheon level great is supposed to be doing, and that's what Jokic is. So with that being said, my challenge is still on the table. Now, obviously, it was awkward for me. It is now, given the fact that it could be my team going up against him. I certainly don't want to challenge him to destroy us. But I issued that challenge 3 months ago, and the Denver Nuggets have not been given enough pressure to win the championship. That's what it really stemmed from for me. Everybody's had all this pressure, except for the team that's had the number one seed all year long. And I just feel like somebody needed to apply it. So here I am at this point. The Denver Nuggets are a team that's in a position to obviously, have some rest going into the Western Conference Finals with the advantage of altitude. To my knowledge, they don't have an NBA championship credited to their name, but this is to me the greatest player they've had, quite honestly, ever as a Denver Nugget. Nikola Jokic, the entire thing is centered around him, and he does just happen to play pool out there. He does have this special talent to pass the ball into fantastic spots, and they do have the right talent around him to catch the ball and shoot it at a high percentage and play good defense around him and so on and so forth. But will they be able to rim protect enough to stop the teams that are going to be in front of them, directly ahead of them? And the answer is, I don't think so. And not after seeing, first of all, obviously my team, I know my team, I don't think he can stop us from getting in the paint. No. But I didn't think the Warriors could either. And they've done an okay job of that. So it's one of those situations where I have no doubt he can score in anybody's paint himself. So his offense is gonna be there. The question is can his team stop anybody? And so far in the playoffs, they've played good enough defense to win these games against who they've played against. And Booker and those guys and Kevin Durant are worthy, obviously, when you consider the offensive end and what they bring to the table. It's just the attack. It's only coming from two dimensions. It's just two guys, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. The jury's still out on Denver, but the challenge is still in place. They're going to have to get something done if they want the respect that they should be, given for as a team that's got the MVP 2 times over and been at the top of the league for the majority of the season. If they're not a regular season team, they got to go ahead and get it. You know what I mean? The whole thing. Nikola Jokic is that player. And at the end of the day, that's what we're judging him by. Not MVPs, but championships. He's a center in the NBA that has talent level that's far above the fray, basically. And so just like Joel, just like Anthony, how much? How many of those you got? How many rings are we counting here? MVPs are great, but that's not what we're here for. You're here to lead your team to the ultimate goal. And so this is not the 80s and the 70s where you can repeatedly get it over and over again, but you do see opportunities where a guy like Joel or a guy like Anthony or a guy like Jokic can get a championship ring this season with where they're positioned right now. So with those guys being the guys with the size, talk about Steph Curry, guys who are a little smaller than them, Tatum is a bigger guy, but not as it pertains to these towers that we're talking about. The challenge is for one of them to get a ring this season. And particularly Jokic, because he's the one that doesn't have any pressure on him at all. Everybody talks about Anthony Davis, and Davis already got one. So if he don't get it, he's already at the table. Joel and Jokic obviously are still searching for their first championship ring. And I don't think Joel has been short of any pressure at all. People have been telling him in Philly, it's Philly. So every day he has to deal with the fact that he hasn't delivered yet. With that being said, Jokic, I don't know how it is in Denver. I don't know, they've had the excuse of having Porter and Murray be hurt and different roster concerns and Grant leaving and all these different things that they could just point in and say, well, we just didn't have it that year. We just didn't have it that year. We just didn't have it that year. Well, this year ain't that year. Everybody's there. I'm applying pressure. So they got to go out there and get a championship. You know what I mean? That's it. That's it. And so that means also just the same, my team, I'm issuing a challenge. You got to stop them from meeting my challenge. That's it. Which means you got to beat the Golden State Warriors in one of these 2 games. If you ain't going to win tonight, you better win Game 7. And then you got to go out there and stop them from meeting the moment. Because at the end of the day, that's our job. You know what I mean? That's our job at this point. So there's 2 different challenges being sent out simultaneously. Jokic, stop us. Us, stop him. BDF 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.